Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throw On Your Questions, the AMA end of the year special. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going? AMA, end of the year. Let's do it.
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo.
Adam Vale.
How you doing?
And Brett Murdoch.
What up, people?
All right, man, you already know, final episode of the year, the AMA special. Chris is still recovering, but he's actually getting his answers in for us right now, so he will be participating with us. And Brian is still in Dubai, I suspect. So yeah, we'll see him next year as well.
He's probably celebrating the World Cup somewhere around there.
We got a question about that. You know why? Because it's an AMA special, man. Anything goes. Yeah. Of course, there's always that one guy. In this case, it was Black Metal Gamer asked us regular gaming questions. So I put them in the. Yeah, I put them in the leftover questions. So we'll get to them probably next year. Probably the first ones we answer because they'll still be pertinent, you know. Anyway, we got a lot of questions. So without further ado, let's get into it, man. First up, we got Logic Wins. So before his question, he goes, "Thank you, Throwdown, for another awesome year of shows. Thank you for checking us out, man."
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. All right, first question. This one's already deep, right? Do you have faith in the younger generation's ability to lead us in the future? If yes or no, please provide specific examples that support your opinion. Chris says, I don't have too much faith. It seems most of the youth today is very narcissistic, and I blame social media for that. That's basically my answer. There's going to be some, listen, the cream of the crop, as it were, they're going to lead us into a good future, I believe, right? Because this is just anecdotal. But I've noticed that, like, the younger generation, the smart ones are really fucking smart, and they are really go-getters. But yeah, like, social media is kind of breeding these fucking narcissists, so I'm kind of worried about that. So I'm going to try to be a little optimistic and say, because think about it, that's always a refrain, right? Oh, the new generation's bullshit. The new generation's bullshit. But we've had steady progress throughout human history, more or less.
Well, we heard that during the hippie movement. Remember, they were all getting high on drugs. They're like, oh, these junkies are going to grow. And it didn't happen. There's always
exactly. Yeah. So my natural inclination is obviously,
people
fuck
grow
the
out
kids.
of it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to worry too much about it because they still have all the knowledge of the past to deal with. But there are going to be some stupid people for sure. You know, that's just how it always is.
I mean, you never know what, at least at this point in time, we don't know which way they're going to go. But again, like Adam said, like you saw all the hippies of that generation, you saw some of the people from, the Gen X generation, people, eventually people get their shit together.
Yeah.
That's just a plain and simple.
They grow up and then they're like, all right, we're not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore now. Let's really look at what's happening.
Exactly.
What about the rest of you guys? Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
I like the phrase of the question is like, do we have faith that the younger generation will lead us? And I'm like, we'll be dead by then. But I think I'm kind of with you guys. Just look at every fucking generation in the past. They all have clowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Henry VIII was running shit. He was he was a lunatic. We had world wars. We had so much crazy stuff happen in the past, and everything, the lens that we look at right now is sort of with rose-tinted glasses these days, because it feels like, someone complains on Twitter and people think that the world is gonna fucking like explode. I'm like, this is fucking Twitter drama. Back then, people were drafted into the fucking army to kill other people. Mm-hmm. Your life is fucking precious compared to everyone else's in the past. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we've learned from the past, and future generations, they're gonna have their fair share of people that are idiots, and but with every generation, it feels like we get quote unquote better in ways, a lot more safer. Death rates are lower than they used to. So I have faith that we'll just keep on with that same trajectory.
Yeah, there's going to be ups and downs, obviously, but yeah, I think in general, things are looking well. I mean, you saw the fusion news. I'm like, okay, I think we're going in the right direction here. By the way, real quick, Pig Dan with the bits. Shout out to
Yo.
your brother.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I saw the news, Tony. I'm like, what? Yo, did Trunks and Goten finally get their shit
You
together?
know, Brett, what's your thoughts on the younger generations leading us into the future, or leading us? Into
I mean, the like leading us, never, not going to happen. It hasn't happened. It's again, like by the time they take over, we're all going to be dead. It's not going to be one of those. They're going to pick up the reins. You know, when you know we're getting older. Like no, it's everything about the younger generation screams just more passive and apprehensive. Like I'm pretty sure the generation below us, we've done so much more stuff than them. Like even in terms of like, you know, up to us, it was every generation would be shocked. Every generation before you would be shocked at the shit that you guys had done as a generation. But this one, it's kind of rolling backwards. I think we're the first generation to look at the younger generation and be like, wow, you guys kind of pussies for the most part.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that very soft generation, you know. But I think it's gonna make, like I said, the cream of the crop stand out more. The guys who aren't, pussies, you know.
Yeah, but that's not leading. Like that's the only thing that I have with that question. Like when we're talking about like leading, like sure, there will be great scientists and there'll be great doctors. Are they going to be, you know, picking up the baton and heading up the front of the pack? Like, no, they're going to specialize in their niche little area and post about it on the internet, and that's going to be that. They'll still do their part. They'll still contribute, but like we don't have people leading as much anymore because everybody's so fractured. You know, you just kind of go and hang out in your own little group and stay isolated. So while I think there'll be a lot of progress, I don't think it'll necessarily be leading. Does that make sense?
Not really. I'm kind of confused.
No.
Because you're saying that there's going to be progress, but no one's going to be leading. If no one's leading, how are you going to get progress?
You get you get like technological progress, but like leaders are generally people who, you know, step to the front of the pack and lead others. They're not people who make really good shit.
Okay, I think I know what you're getting at.
The definition of a leader?
I'm just waiting to see. My thing is with how things are going to transform with social media. Like we grew up when there was no internet, and we've seen it grow from chat, you know, our IRC chat rooms and message boards and all that stuff to what it is now. But it's evolved and it keeps changing, and I keep waiting to see the next evolution of that, to see if it even happens, and if it doesn't, do people just get bored of it like everything else and walk away and then revert back? Sort of like how we see people with, oh, I'm not wearing bell bottoms. It's all about tight jeans. Next you know, another year later, everybody's wearing bell bottoms. And so it's like when people just revert and say, you know what, forget about doing all this whole online shit. I'm going to go back.
Yeah. I think we may see some of that. By the way, real quick, I want to say something about Black Mage. Shout out to him. He said, physically isolated but digitally connected. This new generation is going to have a new definition of leadership. Yeah, it's possible. You know, because you're right. We're like, you're right. That's like the perfect summation of it. Physically isolated, digitally connected. That's pretty much how things are going now.
Go
ahead, Brett. I want your thoughts on that specifically. That comment.
No, that's pretty much what I was talking about. But when we're talking about leading people, we're not talking about in a vacuum, right? Like in a vacuum, sure, I'm sure they'd step up. But compared to, say, like our generation is a little bit more personable. We've had to be a bit more outgoing. We can't, because we haven't always had that corner where we can go and just hang out with our people. And as a result, the younger generation is significantly less aggressive than we are. And I think that aggression is at least part of what makes people leader, not necessarily in a negative way, but you gotta want to step up. You gotta be willing to butt heads with people, and I don't see the younger generation being willing to do that as much.
We also haven't had someone of our generation in power of any sort, really.
We're not going to see that, by the way, because I just, you know, I think it was Carlos who first said it. It's like, think about it now. Our leaders are all fucking old geriatrics. So we're not going to see that. Brett, I want your thoughts on this. I heard somebody say this on some podcast I listened to. We're asked basically this question, like, what's missing nowadays? He's like, grit. Grit is missing. I kind of agree with that. People are kind of passive now. You know?
I feel like that's the same case every generation. I mean, if you think about it, if you think about what's a good definition of a leader, I bet someone back in the day would say Alexander the Great was a great definition of
Or
a
somebody
leader.
who was in the military and fought in a
Or
war.
Patton or something. Yeah,
Yep,
like
yep.
every generation it keeps, and you know, the word soft. You know, we're in quote unquote peace times these days. Obviously, there's things that occur, but you know, when it comes to that. And also I do want to mention the dichotomy between social media and real life, because even people who interact that are in social media do not usually act the same way in real life.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of
we know
fakers out there.
so a lot of what I've noticed is social media and the internet in general, it's just people to release their frustrations without thinking there are any ramifications to it. So that's why whenever you see them in real life, most of them don't even do the same things. So, you know, I do want to caution people when it comes to just measuring social media as a snapshot of what humanity is today. I feel
It's funny. It's funny because Trevor Noah on his last episode of the Daily Show said something very similar. He's like, you know, don't let social media and the media itself let you think that the world is in utter chaos. When you go out there and you start meeting people, you realize certain things. It's not that bad. You know what I mean?
And quite frankly, you get the most liberal person. You take them to the South. They go meet some person that's a huge conservative, and they have dinner together. They're probably not going to fight, unless you know politics come like somehow jumps this way in the conversation. Then maybe.
Yeah. All right. There's some more good comments, but we do have a lot of questions, so let's move on here. Also from Logic Wins, who's joining us tonight in the chat, by the way. Shout out to him. Describe your favorite steakhouse or meat-related food experience in as much detail as possible.
Meat-related, eh?
Yeah, Chris's answer is I don't have a steakhouse story, LOL. I have two.
Oh, I got one.
Probably three, potentially, but I had to go first.
El Quijote's over on 23rd.
23rd.
That's near the Chelsea Hotel. You know that.
I don't know. I don't know if El Quijote's is even there anymore.
It's probably. Oh man, that place. They would give you these thick ass steaks. These Dominicans. It's just with big plates of rice and beans, and it's just amazing. I mean, the only other place that I ever had that was actually my mother-in-law in Iowa, where it's all about pork. They have these huge steaks. I was like, I've never seen something so big. I was like, so those are the two, but in a restaurant setting, El Quijote, that was just mind blowing. I remember, and I thought when I was a kid, I was like, oh shit, maybe because I was a kid, but I went back there. Man, when was the last time I was there? It must have been 2008. Yeah, 2008. It was still there, and I went there, and that's what I got, steak, and it was still just as good. I was like, damn, great steaks. We used to have a place called Beefsteak Charlie's, which was pretty good, but I think they all went out of business. They were a steakhouse. Remember that Beefsteak Charlie's? Anybody remember that?
Beefsteak Charlie's? No, I haven't been to that one.
There was a lot of them in Brooklyn. When I lived over in Sheepshead, there was one that we used to go to all the time. It was just a steakhouse.
Yeah, I'll list a couple. I went to this one place. It was on Long Island, but they got a couple places. By the way, people, I'm a little sick, so if I sound fucked up, forgive me. I went to this place called Peter Luger Steakhouse.
Oh yeah, Peter Luger
was the shit. You know, but they don't fuck around when it comes to the dress code, man. We go in there, we haven't even been seated yet. They're like, "Yo, take your hats off." Like, motherfucker, let me get this shit off first. You know,
there's a few of them. There's one in the city also.
Yeah, but yo, that steak, excuse me, that was the best thing I ever had in my life. Holy shit! Like, it cost a lot of money, but it was.
Oh yeah,
it didn't cost me because it was for my birthday, you know. But still, oh man, that shit was good. Another one was New Orleans, Carlos. That one place we hit up.
Oh, yo, that shit was good.
It's so good. You know. Oh my god.
Had that thing on top of it. Remember, there was like the butter kind of thing on top. That shit was bomb, man.
That was some good. That butter. Excuse me.
Oh, by the way, you mentioned, Tony, the dress code stuff with Peter Luger's. Yeah. I guess that's the reason why you and Mike were telling me in New Orleans, like, yo, make sure to dress up a little bit for this.
Yeah.
But
That's
a
why
lot of
we were
those
traumatized
places,
by it. I mean, I was already dressed up anyway because I already knew. But it's like, again, we still had our jackets on. You got to take your hats off, gentlemen. Like, motherfucker, let us get to our seats first.
but
You
not only
know?
that, some of those I could have swore because I feel like I've been to the Peluga in New York in the city, but they would throw in if you didn't have a jacket and there were still seats available. A lot of it was by reservation, but if they would
Yeah.
charge you extra, but they'll lend you a jacket. They're
Yeah,
like, all right, we
that's
have a dress
crazy.
code. We'll do this. We're gonna throw the fee on there for the rental of the jacket just to sit
Oh
down.
no, it wasn't that far. We guys had a button down like long sleeve or whatever. And then this other place, it's a like a Brazilian place and shit. Like one of those Brazilian
Oh,
meat
the one on
places.
Park. There's one.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that you
fuck!
just get all the
No,
yeah.
it's in Queens,
cuts.
Manny. I think you were
Oh,
there with us that first time we went. You know,
Which one was this?
I forgot. It's right by the highway and shit. One of the highways. I'll look it up. But anyway, what I loved about the place, like basically they give you like a stick, right? Like it looked like a I don't know, like a rod or whatever, right? Green and red, right? You put that shit in green. They keep coming with the meat. They don't stop. They
Oh
don't
yeah,
stop.
like
yeah.
a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, Brazilian
that's it.
Steakhouse. And then
Steakhouse,
the
yeah.
last time I went for Mike's brother's birthday, they had this like hot ass Brazilian girl dancing and shit. I even got pictures of it. You know, that shit was crazy. But that meat, I was like, yo, like cut all the bullshit out. No vegetables, none of that. Just give me the meat. You know, like
Yep.
that's the shit I really want to eat here. I don't want to fill up on nothing else. Just give me the meat, and they do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Logic Wins is asking, is it Fogo de Chao's?
I don't think so, but maybe I gotta look it up. Anyway. You
There was a
guys
few.
tell your stories. It's in Queens, though. I know that.
Oh, he's saying Rhinus?
I don't remember the name of the fucking place.
There's a few.
Rhinus?
There's a few.
There's
There's
a
a
few of
few. Like well-known Brazilian steakhouses. Yeah, all you need to do is just show up. They usually have like you could either just go for just the meat, or you could do the buffet as well. So you just
Yeah.
have the buffet. You can go up there and get some food, and then you just have the little thing there. They'll just keep showing up with meat. Let's see. As far as steak goes, actually, it wasn't like it was this was probably one of the best steaks that I had. So Ted Turner actually has a steakhouse, right? Like he has very small chain. I think it's just called Ted's. Anyway, the steaks there are damn good, like stupidly good. So yeah, that's my thing. When we went there for a friend's birthday, and I had never been, and he never had been at the time, and yeah, when we went there, it was obviously it was pretty expensive, but it was worth every single penny. Really great stuff there. Ted Turner knows himself some steak.
Yo, by the way, real quick, the name of the place is Reinhas Churrascaria. That's the name of the place.
Oh, that's
good.
the one.
Yeah.
That's the one Logic Wins mentioned.
Yeah, man, that's the one I went to. I'm looking at the pictures now. I'm like, yep, that's it. That's the place. Yeah, man, you already know. Brett, steakhouse or meat house stories?
I mean, just not anything particularly interesting. There's this really great place downtown called Anton's, and they have like a dry freezer where they just have like the whole fucking cow hung up in the back. So when you go in and you order a steak, you not only order the cut, but you order the thickness that you want your steak. Because they have that, they also have an in-house butcher shop. So you go in and you're like, okay, I'd like 12 ounces of Kansas City strip cut 2 inches thick. And they'll make it for you. And it is fucking amazing. Also, it's Kansas City strip. Fuck your New York strip.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, so this place is by Northern Boulevard, right by City Field. I still want to call it Shea Stadium. All right, everybody went with this one?
Just real quick, Cattleman Steakhouse over here in El Paso is probably the most famous steakhouse in the
I
city.
would think you would have a bunch out there in Texas.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of like those Texas Roadhouse kind of chains that it's like they're everywhere. But yeah, Cattleman's is
Outback. I've been to Outback. It's
you got Outback, yeah. I mean, but yeah, Cattleman's. If you ever hear, Cattleman's is the place to go. It's a little quite a drive, But yeah, they have the best steak that I've ever had. And I do want to give a shout out to that New Orleans place that I went with Tony. That surprised me, man. I was like, damn, this shit is too good.
It really was, man. Fuck. And that ice cream.
And that ice cream, excuse me.
Remember,
Tony hates ice cream.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It's just I'm not a sweets guy. I like salt, But so if I'm praising ice cream, you already know. Although ice cream is the thing I tolerate the most out of sweets, just because it's not so like cake. I'll eat it, but it's like just a couple bites here and there. But since ice cream's a little bit more like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not as like powerful or whatever.
Yeah.
It's less concentrated. That's what I'm looking for. But I still gotta be careful with ice cream, though. All right. Let's get into it more. Black Mage, who's also joining us in the chat tonight.
Yo.
So before he starts his questions, he goes, "Another year in the books. I've been listening for almost 2 years, and each time I'm thoroughly entertained. Keep doing an awesome job of keeping it real. I look forward to more in 2023. Now, if only Sony and Microsoft can keep dropping titles like you guys drop episodes. We don't stop, baby. We don't stop. 50 episodes a year. We don't stop, man. Take a lot of pride in that too. All right. Oh, Manny, get ready for this one, man. And let me finish the question too, because I know you're going to want to jump in. What is the panel's take on AI-generated art in relation to game development, comics, and journalism? I'll start with Chris's answer first. Chris wrote a big thing. Fuck. Chris goes, I don't think AI-generated creative content is far enough along as to replace anyone's talent or job. It seems that all that generated art comes from an amalgamation of pre-existing art which was made by people. If you just had AI-generated content and other AIs ingesting that content to generate content, it would degrade in quality rapidly. But man, you have strong feelings about this. You've been tweeting about it all week. So
here's the thing, like as far as AI generated art, I think the biggest issue with it is that it is all trained on every single artist that has ever posted artwork on the internet. And you, even in some sections, you can actually see it. Like literally sometimes in the corner, a lot of times in the corner, you'll see this sort of weird approximation of a signature because the AI can't even distinguish whether something is part of a piece of artwork, or it's just a thing. And obviously most artists, at least Western artists, sign on the bottom right. I would say, like, as far as it, like, replacing people, I don't think it will replace people. And I think a lot of times what happens is as soon as people, where we had this one situation where a well-known book company actually attempted to try to use that stupid AI artwork to do a cover and realized that it essentially was cloning an artist. So I think the thing about it is that, like, the problem with a lot of it is that when it comes to duplicating other artists' styles and that sort of stuff, there's no checks and balances in general. An artist can't license their style. In fact, many artists who not only does this thing clone obviously living artists, but dead artists as well. Kim Jong-gi, who's a well-known artist who used to travel around the world doing exhibitions and drawing live for people and on walls and all kinds of other stuff. He passed away recently, and even his artwork has worked its way into there. So they're obviously not cutting it onto something specific. They're just literally training it on everybody and then just having spit out duplicate fake art, which in a lot of cases doesn't make any sense, when you go any deeper. So as far as it replacing people, I don't think it'll replace people, but I think that also people need to be very wary as to what they're doing with it. A lot of people, when that thing exploded, right? Every single person, who, I would say, a lot of non-artists who want to make something look cool, I can understand why they wanted to use it. But they never thought to themselves, oh, hey, wait a minute. This actually came from somewhere. Because all art in general comes from somewhere. Even if it's... Because remember, when it comes to any of these AI things, is that we're always the one that's training them. Whether that be the trends on the internet, whether that be a people specifically going in and literally training it to do the thing. So obviously, all these people went in and jumped in and started taking their photos, and then AI generating painted fake versions of themselves, you know, but not really realizing that all of that stuff is literally just ripping off the work of some other artist or multiple artists.
Yeah. Brett, what are your thoughts on AI generated art?
Manny kind of touched on a lot of, I think, what's important. I'm kind of torn though, because yes, AI art is trained off of all other art on the internet, but so are up and coming artists. So it's to me, it's I don't like it, right? And I don't think that you should give no credit to the people whose art it was made from. But the thing that really gets me is I'll be dark and use Manny here for an example. Sorry, Manny. After Manny's dead, Manny's art can keep doing art, right? And that's a thing that I've already come to terms with the fact that yeah, there's going to be art made by AI. It's going to be derivative. It's going to be tougher for artists in the future to make a living because while AI art may not be perfect, there's a lot of people in that kind of middling, still figuring it out space, at the bottom end of the art industry, and that's going to be a harder hurdle to overcome. But then once you do become a well-established artist, it almost appears like your style can almost begin to be automated. So even before Manny goes up to that big drawing board in the sky, maybe he's decided to retire or work less or just wants to make more money off his entire catalog of art that he's done. He can train AI on that and have it start producing artwork for him in terms of commissions and whatnot. So it's scary in a lot of ways, but also
But the thing is that even then, even if it was duplicating my work, there was still my aesthetic that is still on top of there. If anything, if I trained an AI to draw like me, I would still go back in and fix it, even if it's. Yeah. In other words, if it was just if there was an instance where I literally said, "All right, this is the Emilio Lopez art, where art." There would still be things that it's no, this is not what I would do. No, this is not it. In other words, if anything, it would be treated more as a starting point.
Right? Yeah. Well, it almost turns you into you can go in and just edit stuff instead of having to make it from the ground up.
But at the same time, using it to essentially output essentially. Subvert a guy like Jim Lee, right? In other words, saying, okay, we don't want to fucking hire Jim Lee to do this work. Marvel, right? Let's say that. Let's say Marvel because Jim Lee can't draw for Marvel. Let's say Marvel said, hey, we can't hire Jim Lee, but we really want him to be doing covers for X-Men books. That is messed up. Seriously,
I
literally using.
Yeah, well, that's the dystopian version of it, though.
Well, that is the dystopian version, but the thing about it is that there is no checks and balances, and it can easily go in that direction. Because
it can, but just because we're talking about the bad doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about some of the possible good too. In terms of Jim Lee, what if instead of retiring, Jim Lee just basically uses AI to help create in his style, and then uses that as a starting point and goes through and edits it, and is able to say spend twice as much time with his family, which then means he doesn't have to retire.
But again, the thing is that would be an instance on his own. But again, there is nothing stopping any of these companies from doing something like that, because again, we cannot, as artists, despite people knowing other artists' styles, you can't license your style. which means that, like, let's say, like, again, like, we'll just go with not even think about AI in this situation. That means that you can literally hire a Jim Lee clone. They don't sign Jim Lee, but they draw almost exactly like him, and he can't
But see, that's
sue them for something like that.
yeah, they can because there's
No, they
already
can't.
been lawsuits that have come in.
No,
There's already been lawsuits.
no.
All right, never mind.
There has not been any
Cool.
sort of lawsuits, because he would have probably, if out of anything, if he would have done it, he would have probably sued every single one of those
Who's
clones.
he?
That has.
Jim Lee.
I'm just talking about Jim Lee, dude.
I'm not talking about Jim Lee.
I'm talking about Jim Lee. I said, listen, what's to stop? I'm saying, let's take AI out of the question. Let's say, okay, maybe Marvel wanted to get somebody who draws exactly like Jim Lee. They got people that work exactly like Jim Lee, and he couldn't go back and sue them because for mimicking his style, because no artist can license or mimic essentially what is it? Not unlicensed, but they can copyright their style. It's never happened,
Okay.
and it can't be
Okay.
done. Unlike music, unlike the music industry, where there's checks and balances to protect the artist. So, in other words, when somebody decides to go and sample somebody's work, there's legal attached to it. So, when you hear, like, Ice Baby. Ice Baby gives David Bowie and Freddie Mercury's estates money because they're using a portion of the stuff they created. But
I get it. Real quick,
visual artists, these things don't exist.
Yeah, Manny, let Brett explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So that aside, there is a lawsuit. It is actually happening. It is able to happen. It is a class action lawsuit. And it is basically, you can prove that the AI has been trained on your art. And if you can prove that there has been input into that, and it's kind of even going opposite. Like, people who are owning these AI art, the burden of proof is on them to show where their art was trained from, and they can't just release it on the internet to go nuts off of everybody's publicly posted stuff. There's, like I said, there's already a lawsuit going into that. So it is an issue, but we are also talking where we're trying to hammer out the legislation around it. And it's my opinion that we're going to get to a point where AI, what the real thing that's going to be valuable is what the AI is trained from. And especially if this sets a precedent, then you can't just release it onto the internet, because it is then stealing art.
Yeah, but the thing about and this has already been proven through people just looking through the artwork, and essentially, with that one situation, again, like that one company essentially trying to use AI to generate a cover for a book, they literally was like, wait, no, this is this guy's work. So it's obviously trained off of specific people. And when you say you can't copyright your own style, that's not necessarily something that's set in stone. Especially if we're talking about I can copyright all of my work, so that an AI is not allowed to learn off of my work unless I sign off on that, and that could be a commodity. You can do that with your work, but you can't do that if you decide. Let's say you just drew some fan art. You can't do that because there's a bunch of legality on that. So let's say, again, all right, Brett Murdoch literally licensed all of his essentially copywritten all of his original ideas, but that doesn't cover any of your fan art. And it doesn't cover a lot of other different things. So yeah, and the fan art also falls into that legal mystery zone, because you as an artist have obviously control over the usage of your work, which means Marvel can't use your Wolverine fan art legally because they.
Okay, well then why would an AI company be able to use that?
But the problem is the legal. You can't claim any of that work if it ever does get used. It was like, let's say that Marvel decides to use it, they can't. You can't. In other words, like to say, like there's a couple of situations where, like, places like Hot Topic have taken artwork from other artists and essentially made shirts out of them because they assumed that it was original. There was artwork that was made for it, and it was difficult as hell to even try to get that done, to get it pulled, as well as any of the situations that I have dealt with where my work has been, posted onto different sites and sold as product, but being I don't have the right to the copyrights to the character that is being put on there, I can't take that stuff off. It would have to be Marvel or DC or whatever work that I was making a fan art of. So there's a lot of
Okay,
these
and
weird,
what's to stop us?
there's a lot of these
What's
weird
to stop us
loopholes.
from saying that the art that you produce is a commodity, and that unless expressly written, no AI has the right or ability to learn.
Only that terminology only benefits well-known artists, I would say. So if I
Yeah, and that's what I was saying.
if I were a famous well-known artist, yes. But if I'm Joe Schmo artist on the internet who doesn't really have that much of a pot to piss in, obviously he'd have a lot more trouble trying to get any of that out of the way. So I think that just because I think a lot of this just falls into these weird loopholes. So it really just needs to it just really needs to go back to formula and really need to pull all this stuff off and then really sit down and get it right.
Yeah, I mean, we really
as far as protecting artists.
All right, let's move on because we've still got a lot. I'll just say real quickly, I've seen AI generated game reviews, and I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna be out of a job soon. It's like you couldn't tell the difference. It's fucking so long and short of it. I'm against all this AI generated shit. I think it's all horrible. All right, so let's move on here. Also from Black Mage. All right, he goes, Tony, I'm currently reading the Expanse series. My man, he knows I read the books. I'm currently on book 6, Babylon's Ashes, and so far, book 2, Nemesis Games, is my favorite. My question to you and the rest of the panel is, what are your book recommendations? Chris says, I enjoy some of David Drake's sci-fi works like the Northworld series and the Shannara books. Shannara books are not David Drake, but yeah, good stuff. Check out Brandon Sanderson, man. Specifically, Mistborn, the first Mistborn trilogy. Fucking awesome. Like, it's like, because what I like about it is the magic is explained like science. It's all broken down and stuff. It's not just like, oh, the guy waves his fingers and shit happens. Like, it's all based on actual physics. So it's like, it's more scientific. It's basically like people, just imagine people with like Magneto powers. It's fucking awesome. So definitely, yeah.
Is that that's not Dresden, right?
No, that's not Dresden. Although I'd recommend those too. You know, also, even though that's magic as well, there's a cost and like there's a cost to every spell they do. It's not just like you know, like Doctor Strange just throws shit. Doesn't matter. Like there's always things that need to happen. Like there's a specific process these things need to happen before the spell comes out. It's not just like blah, 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 and then shit happens. You know, that's also why I generally tend not to like magic as much because it's just too wishy-washy for me. That's why I enjoy Brandon Sanderson. All his magic systems are thoroughly laid out. Very enjoyable stuff. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Brett, what about you?
Give the on the note of Brandon Sanderson, give the Wheel of Time series a whirl. It is amazing. It was started by Robert Jordan, and Brandon Sanderson actually finished it. Do not let the Amazon Prime show sour your taste out. That shit is horrible. It is horrible. But the books are amazing, and because the show is horrible, they have very little to do with each other. I mean, the show is definitely way off track from the books in a lot of the most important things. But it's a really good story. It's like 14 books long. Robert Jordan is probably, in my opinion, the single best author of the last 50 years. Just the way that he builds up to things. He's not an R.R. Martin type. He's not a gardener. He's an architect. He set shit up 3-4 books ahead of time. So that's real good. I also recommend Terry Pratchett's Wizard's First Rule or Sword of Truth series. It starts off kind of generic, you know, like here's a land, there's the world, then it was divided into the world of dark magic and light magic and no magic, fucking basically. It's but as the books go on, it really kind of goes off into a surprisingly deep turn that takes on some really cool concepts and ends up being going from kind of generic and normal fantasy to very, very different from any other fantasy I've read, and it does that actually pretty quick. Kind of an example is like there's a person called a confessor, and basically what they do is they're there to execute criminals. When somebody is basically shown that they're almost definitely guilty because there's no coming back from the confessor treatment, they're brought to a confessor, where the confessor basically casts a compulsion on them, and they have this kind of power where they cast a compulsion on the person. That person will want to do anything that they say. So they say, confess your crimes, and they confess their crimes. And with found guilty, they say, I wish you to die. And their heart just stops, and they fall over dead. And they use that kind of mechanic to a lot of really cool effects throughout through the series. So highly recommend that. Terry Pratchett, he's a boss.
Good stuff. Carlos, do you have anything?
Really, I haven't read anything in the last couple of years. I'll just say, read A Song of Ice and Fire, just so you can be with us and complain about every time George Martin talks about updates.
You know,
Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, I want to throw out another one just to keep it sci-fi. Read The Lost Fleet. If you liked The Expanse, you'll probably like that. It's not gritty and brutal like The Expanse, but like their spaceship battles are awesome because it's all based on physics. You know, it's like they launch a torpedo. It's like, all right, it's gonna strike the target in about 2 hours. You know, shit like that. You know, a lot of waiting around it. So I love that type of shit. You know.
So let me ask real quick. Like, is it the brutality or is it the grounded aspect? Because that's The Expanse is known for those two things, right? So if we're talking like brutality, sex, and murder, like that's where Sword of Truth comes in. That shit is hard fucking gore. You wouldn't expect it, but it is.
No, I was just
looking
saying,
for more.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but I was just saying that you know, The Lost Fleet. I would recommend to Expanse fans. Just don't expect that level of grittiness. You know, that's all I was saying. But
I want to throw one more. I want to say I think it's called The Colors of Magic. It's by Ellie Modesitt Jr. It is a fantasy novel that is super grounded in terms of in terms of like The Expanse. Like this is a guy that criticized Lord of the Rings for having armies that they couldn't feed on the move because they had sat down and done the math. Like this guy is seriously fucking grounded. And the little magic that is in it is almost 100% explained with like real world physics.
Nice.
So
yeah, I like that. I like
if
that.
you're looking for something grounded like that, I would recommend Colors of Magic. But if you're looking for Hobo Death Murder Party, like that's probably not the one. It's a little bit more slow and thoughtful. So really knowing what you're keying into would be helpful for book recommendations, but there it is.
Yeah. By the way, Brett, real quick, I forgot to tell you this. I don't know what book it was, but I saw somebody reading an R.A. Salvatore book on the subway the other day. It's one of those Dritz books. I know that. I saw the cover.
The Dritz books are fucking great.
Yeah.
They are the guy equivalent of like a trashy romance novel. They're just fun murder parties.
Good stuff, man. All right, Manny, you have anything?
I mean, I don't read very many novels, but I could give a fun recommendation for visual graphic novels.
That counts.
And,
that has the word novel in it.
Yeah, there you go. It's a graphic novel. So yeah, this is actually a book. What I'm showing here is a book called The Demon Days by Peach Momoko. It's literally like a reimagining of the Marvel universe, but in Japan. So it's like you follow like a version of Psylocke, and it's a bunch of X-Men and all that stuff, and they're all based. All of their powers and stuff are all based off of like Japanese oni and yokai. So Storm is actually like based off of something, and then there's also a really great section in the back of the book which actually explains the lineage of where the different types of oni that they're oni and spiritual creatures that they're all based off of in Japanese culture. It's actually a pretty fun book, and just sort of taking the Marvel ideas and sort of applying them to Japanese culture, and I thought it was really good. And the Amazon version of the book actually comes in the size of a Japanese scripture, kind of like a large format, which is really nice. So that's my recommendation.
Good
I haven't
stuff.
read a Marvel book in a very long time, even though I worked for them quite a bit. I just haven't had it very much interest. But that was one that really caught my eye.
Cool. Adam, you got anything?
Not for that. I mainly just read history. It's like David McCullough, The Great Bridge, 1776, John Adams. A lot of history stuff. Not so much with the sci-fi.
Yeah. You like whatchamacallit? What do they call those autobiographies? You like those, don't you?
Yeah, I like biographies. Whenever someone's doing they're talking about their own tales of what's going on in their life. If it's been a crazy life, there was that one at Einstein they had that they eventually made that movie.
Good stuff.
Yeah, there's a few of them. There's another one. I know it's no point. I mean, Jacob Riis, How the Other Half Lived. That's a great book. If somebody wants to know what life was in New York during the early 1800s, around there when we were having that big influx of migrants that were coming over, and how, if you guys seen the movie Gangs of New York and that whole thing of the 5 points, well, that all pretty much comes from Reese's book, because he was the first to actually go down there and see how gritty things were, and he took a camera, and that was unheard of at the time to use something like that. And he went down there and he took pictures. He wanted to show the rest of the world, hey, this is how bad things are down here, and no one's talking about it because no one cares. And so he did. Jacob Riis covered the whole downtown area, and that's how we were able to see all that and eventually get what we saw as 5 points and Gangs of New York, the movie, and all that stuff. So that's a great book, How the Other Half Lived. And it's funny because when I was younger, I used to live in the PJs in the Lower East Side, and I didn't even know those were called the Jacob Riis houses. So they named a whole housing complex after him because he brought awareness to it. And they were like, well, great, you show us everything's shitty there, so how should we fix this? And he was a reporter for the police. He was one of those police reporters that would follow him around and do that whole thing. And that's what really drew him to it when they would go down to the 5 points. And he was like, holy shit. And then after that, he just sort of became like an activist of just how to just better. It's because of him that they just started adding windows to apartment buildings. Like, that wasn't even considered a thing, to add windows. Like, oh, well, there's a window in the hallway, but what about each apartment? Why do they need that? Even bathrooms and shit. I mean, it's crazy. So if anybody's looking for an interesting read of history, that's a good one.
Good stuff.
I do want to recommend the Bible, Old Man in the Sea, Mice and Men.
Don
Which version of the Bible, though? Which version of the Bible? Old Testament, New Testament? Old Testament has the horror stories. New Testament is not so bad.
I do like how a lot of politicians like, well, what's your favorite book? It's like, the Bible.
Yeah. Who wrote that shit?
Exactly. Well, King James. Everybody knows that.
King James, All right, man, let's move on.
Some people say it was what's his face? William Shakespeare.
That's hilarious. All right, let's move on.
Maybe he wrote a chapter. Who knows?
All right, we do Meke in the house is also joining us tonight as Blitz. First one, if you could dedicate your life to the pursuit of perfecting something, what would it be? It could be a martial art, cooking, music, photography, anything. Chris's answer is, if I had the time and didn't have to worry about bills, I'd just focus on studying more illustration and 3D art, maybe game design.
Interesting.
Yeah, Chris has a lot of interest in doing art, and he still does it. But yeah,
this one is slightly tricky because I'm already kind of doing it. Like I want to become the best journalist possible. Right, so I'm already giving my life to that pursuit. But if I could have another one, and I, like Chris said, no, don't worry about bills or everything. Yeah, being a novelist would be awesome. Writing was what I like to do. So I don't really have any other interests besides that. Really, I did the guitar thing, that was cool, but I don't really want to become a musician. I like writing, that's my thing. So yeah, I'm already doing half of it with the journalism thing. But I would like to become if I would just dedicate the rest of my life to becoming an awesome novelist. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great way to live, man. What about you, Manny?
I mean, to be honest, as far as it goes, I mean, you'll never be able to perfect your work.
No.
And artwork. So I mean, I would say I would love to be able to get to that, to get to a point, but it's kind of like the it always keeps moving. And if you ever reach a point where you ever stop learning or you ever stop doing it, your work will start to stagnate. So I mean, I
I've
would
always
say
said
art.
I do not want to get to the point where I think I've reached the pinnacle, because then it's over. But the beauty of the question was, that wasn't the question. The question was, what do you want to spend the rest of your life trying to perfect? You know,
I mean, that's. I mean, I'm already on that journey. So
you're already there.
I'll
Yeah.
get stick. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with the art side. Essentially trying to. I mean, as I do, trying to understand all aspects of doing the work. Keeping my mind open to new things and all that other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Brad, I'm going to go to you too. I'm just going to go with the artist first, because I think we kind of already have our kind of things laid out,
Yep. I mean, I'm already living my best life, man. Like, I wanted to be an artist, and I've come to appreciate this part of my career more lately. I deal in imagery, but I deal in self-confidence and self-worth more than anything. So, I help people feel comfortable in their bodies and appreciate art at the same time, which is pretty fucking cool.
That's pretty awesome indeed, man. Blitz says, as someone who was right into my martial arts, so wish I had kept it up, either Muay Thai or Kyokushin karate. Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
I want Adam to go next, because Adam can go a million directions with
You
this
already
one.
know. Maybe you should save him for last, because he's going to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true.
You go next. Yeah.
Actually, one thing that sort of I wish I had sort of unlimited time, unlimited budget, is learning different languages and perfecting sort of. And I mean, obviously, like Manny mentioned, perfection is really not attainable, but getting them to a place, to a point where they're fluent, because I feel like languages is just a way to. It's like another dimension in interaction between people. Growing up as a bilingual kid, I'm equally fluent in English and Spanish. So I know what the difference is having sort of Spanish speaking friends and English speaking friends, and how there is a barrier in between both of them, and different cultures and different expressions and just ways of life between both. And I know Tony probably knows what that's like.
Yeah.
And man, I would love to learn different languages, go different places in the world and to learn, and just experience different cultures in the most natural way.
Yeah, man. No more watching anime with dubs, man. With
No more.
subtitles. That's it. I've always said, like,
subs.
again, the whole war between dubs and subs, like, both of you guys are watching it wrong anyway. Both sides lose. So imagine that you fully understood Japanese, it wouldn't fucking matter. You watch anime,
That'd be crazy.
You watch anime exactly that's what it's meant to be, right? Adam, what you got, man? If you had time to pursue something.
I guess two things. One, continue my music. Like that thing I sent you guys from TuneCore, that came in at like 1:30 in the morning. I'm laying down and it says, congratulations, your album has hit the 6 billion chart. And I'm like, what? And I click on it and it's a whopping $30. But it was funny to see. And I was like, oh, this one track, it's still being played till this day. And I'm like, where? Because iTunes doesn't sell music anymore. I'm not on Spotify. I can't find it. I sent them a message too. I'm like, where did you post my shit that it's still generating interest? They haven't replied back. So that I would definitely like to do. But the more I listen, because after that, I was like, I want to hear my shit again. I started playing it again. It's like, it's more stuff that would be stuff in movies and stuff like that. It's not so much for like in a club setting, I guess. And also write treatments for movies and TV shows. I would love to do that. I have all these crazy ideas. I'd love to just write one, boom, 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 and send it through. And I thought that part of that dream was going to come true. Remember, Manny, at Black Nexus, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what they do. They do treatments and they sell these treatments. They sell these ideas to different studios. That's fantastic, because really all it takes is one hit. You know what I mean? One to give you a good chunk of money, and then you can just keep going from there. So that would be fantastic. And I guess I could do that just on my free time. But it's Hollywood. Hollywood is all about who you know. It's that type of deal. Is it once you get in there, then you're in there, and next whatever you decide to put to pen to paper, and they put out on a movie, a TV show. Next you're J.J. Abrams. Who is he? Oh, he's this guy who writes all this fucking shit. All right, well I guess it must be good. So I can't just submit something over and hope that somebody gets it. I would have to know somebody, and I would probably spend time like that. If I don't have to worry about money, I'll go out there and schmooze and then do the whole thing and be like, all right, these are shit ideas I have. I don't want to sit on all of them. Which one do you like? And you have all of it. I just put me down as executive producer and I'm out and give me a check. Okay. That's it. So
all right,
I would have guessed. I was gonna guess the music.
Yeah.
I was gonna guess martial arts.
Well, that thing is with that was a young man's thing, and it only lasts for so long unless you decide to open up your own dojo and do that whole thing. And even that is difficult. Like, look at what happened now with the pandemic. It's like I knew so many people that I don't talk to so much from those gym days, but they're friends of mine on Facebook. If I knew like the gyms are closed, they can't go, and this and this and that, it's like that would hurt. Imagine if that was your business, and now it's like here's a virus spreading that they can't have any human contact, especially in New York when they locked a lot of things down. Remember that you couldn't go to barbershops and gyms and all this shit. That sucks. So it's a very hard life with that. And I mean, my daughter still does it. My daughter just got her brown belt in Taekwondo, and that gym does all kinds of, that dojo does all kinds of like weird non-dojo related things. Like they'll do like Halloween parties, sleepovers in the dojo, watching like Karate Kid and all this. They do a lot of other things to keep the engagement, which is great. And I was like, I guess that's what you would have to do. But it's just it's a hard life.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Another one from Tumeke. Have any of you had any supernatural experiences or experiences that were too weird to easily explain? Chris says, yes, I've had a couple of spooky moments, all back in NYC, which is old and haunted.
That is true.
So, Adam, I'm guessing you want to go first.
Shit. Well, I had two. Well, the main one.
One might be from our grandmother too.
Yes, that is the first one. So, I moved into Greenmont, which is Manny's mom's mother's old apartment that was in Spanish Harlem, right? So she was in a home, and I took over the payments and stuff for the apartment, and then she had passed away while she was at the home, but I was still living there. So I remember I was sleeping, and loud music came on, loud old-timey music came on in the living room. So I got up, and there's nobody else in this apartment. It's a small one bedroom. When I went, and it was set to, so if you guys have cable, do you remember there's like this music station, there's like a series of music channels, and one of them was that channel. It was like, so, and then I turned it off. And I remember later on talking to your mom, it's like, oh yeah, she listens to that. And I remember she had a bunch of those tapes that we got rid of. That was her thing. And it was so crazy because I've never listened to that channel, never listened to music. And for it to turn on, the cable box to turn on and to go to that channel, and it was blasting. Remember, I had a surround sound system.
Yes.
Back then. So we got like full surround sound just blasting.
By the way, real quick, Drunken Guardian says he remembers that apartment. That's your boy, Adam. I know that.
Yeah, thing about my grandmother, Grandma, she used to listen to her music very loud too, which also matches up with what Adam said. So she used to listen to like those sorts of stations. So who knows?
Yeah, she came to visit. And
I mean, she spent. What is the thing? Like, you spend long enough. They say if you spend long enough in a space, part of yourself sort of essentially becomes part of it. So who knows?
Yeah. Brett, got anything?
So what now?
Supernatural experience.
Oh, right. Stressed out for a second. Other than like an unnerving amount of dreaming something and then it almost immediately happening, or just a short while later, no. But that happens way too fucking often.
Yeah, I'll go next. No, I'm not of that persuasion, believe in ghosts or any of that silly stuff. So, nope, no supernatural experiences for me.
So, obviously, Adam mentioned my grandma, or our grandmother or my grandmother, and the funny thing about it is that I've never actually had any sort of supernatural experiences. I mean, and the funny thing is that for most of my life, I've lived by a giant cemetery. I used to live like by a giant Jewish cemetery out in Queens, New York. Literally, you could see it from
from the window. You just look over it, and there it is.
Our window. Good. Thankfully, Mom, when she moved to that apartment in the '70s, she made sure that we weren't facing that cemetery. But yeah, if you walked out, you looked to the right, you could see the whole cemetery. They used to have big fences there, but sometimes those especially during storms and stuff, the fences all blow over and you see the whole like a whole cemetery. But yeah, never had any sort of experience, any sort of living near a cemetery. Never had any sort of ghostly experiences.
Yeah,
like
Drunken Guardian, Flushing. That was in Sunnyside, Flushing, Queens.
no, Flushing. Like close to it's like on Main Street. There's a big Main Street toward the Shea Stadium. There's a big Hasidic Jewish neighborhood over there.
Yeah,
That's
it's right
where I
along
used to
Main
live.
Street. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Real quick, Blitz goes. I had one when I was 6 or 7, and it's so vivid. Woke up at night and someone was standing at my door. I couldn't see their face, but I thought the robe was the same as my mom's, so I called out to her, but nothing, and they kept watching me. So I tried to reach down to my lamp on the floor by my bed, but couldn't reach the floor. No matter how far I reached, I hid under the covers until morning. Whoa, spooky.
Oh damn.
Spooky. Carlos, you got anything?
I mean,
Go
so
ahead, man.
also one more thing, because again, since me and my mom lived near a cemetery for I lived there most of my life. That's one thing she always used to say to me. She's like, you have more to be afraid of from the living than from the dead.
This is true.
That's what she always used to say to me.
This is true. All right, Carlos, you got anything?
Not really. Like I'm like Tony in a lot of ways with that. I don't believe in it. But I do kind of like what Brett mentioned earlier. I do have moments where, and I don't know if it's called deja vu or I don't know what the hell this
Yeah,
is
deja
called,
vu is
but-
about the closest I get, but again, that's just your brain playing tricks on you. It's not a real supernatural thing. It's just your brain just playing tricks on you.
Yeah, you get those moments where you're like, I could have sworn that I thought of this exact same scenario in the past, and I do
Which
get
you probably
I get-
have. The way your brain works, you probably have.
Yeah, so that's as close as I'll get.
For sure. All right, moving on here. Mob hits. All right, Kill Bill 1 or Kill Bill 2. Chris goes, the first movie, the second movie is too talky. All the action and cool stuff was the first one. Yep, that's my answer. The
Yeah,
first one. The second one, too much talking.
Kill Bill 1.
It had, I felt like it had like some of the most iconic scenes.
Yeah.
in the whole part.
Yeah, Buck was something else.
Yeah. Brett, Kill Bill 1 or 2. I think he's eating. All right.
There's you get a Kill Bill.
Number one.
Which one?
Oh.
Number one.
Number 1, yeah.
He
Okay,
said
we're
one.
all agreed. All
Give
right.
it one.
There is a Kill Bill type scene in the new Tales from the Borderlands. And it's almost exactly how it happens in the movie, and it's in the game, and you have to perform it. I don't want to spoil it, but you'll know if you've watched those movies, especially the 2. You'll definitely know when it happens. It's pretty cool the way they tied it in. Fits.
Yeah. All right. Next one from Mob Hits. If you had the power to do anything in this world for just one day, what would you do?
Wait, what?
Any-
What was it?
Power
Yeah,
to
the
do
power.
anything.
Yeah, the power to do anything for just one day, what would you do?
That's interesting because that one day
I already
thing
know.
just
That's an easy one.
All right, go ahead, Adam.
Cure everyone of any disease that they have.
Yeah, that's my
That's
question
it.
for Mob Hits. He's not here. How long?
If it's
does he
for
have-
one day,
Yeah.
if it's the only thing I can only do this one day, but it doesn't have a lasting effect. You know what I mean?
How
If
long
it's
does
just
the
one
effect
day.
last? Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a lasting effect and it's like, hey, you could only do it this one day. That was it. It's like whatever ailments anyone has in the world, just remove it. Right now, just remove it. And that's it. People that are in hospitals can just walk out and go home.
Yep, people have cancer.
That could cause some unexpected problems, though.
Everything can cause unexpected problems. I mean, we need people to die, but it would still cause a lot more.
You know what? Let's just
positive.
say, just for my sake, no monkey's paw situations with these. Nothing bad will happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what you say, what you want to happen will happen, not the monkey's paw version.
Yeah. For sure. Manny.
Geez, how do you follow curing everybody of every disease on the planet?
Making everyone sick.
Just do the opposite. No, I wouldn't do that. To be honest, I think it would be a little bit more weird and selfish. It would be like if I could. No, it wouldn't be selfish. I mean, it would actually be somewhat similar. It would actually be like literally, the Fight Club ending without all the chaos, essentially remove every single person's debt on the planet. Anything like that, like whether it be medical bills, whether it be all of that, it's all just gone. They don't have any of that stuff to worry about.
So that FTX guy gets to go free.
Yeah. The FTX guy, here's the thing. It also has negative effects when it comes to certain people because why they have some sort of debt. It's like, oh well, because they put themselves in there.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna get themselves back in debt anyway.
But here's the thing. Like I would just say, like at least clear, at least for again, clear everybody's debt, and then they could start again, whatever that may be. Right?
It's a fresh start.
A total fresh start, and that's exactly the ending of Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club. They blew up all the credit unions.
They blew up all the credit unions, setting everybody's credit back to zero. Sending everybody's credit. So any debt that they had, any of that sort of stuff, it was all gone.
Yeah, $100 million in my banking account. That's my power. Keep it nice and simple. For the non-greedy answer, actual fusion like power, like. We got the little first step here. Great. I like overnight. Hey, this is the way we do things now. No more carbon. No more of that. So that's what I would do. Go ahead.
It's funny. Speaking of fusion, like or any of those sorts of things, it's like okay, yeah, fusion. But the other part of it is like it's boiling water.
That's what it all. Yeah, that's what it all. Well, I mean, that's one
boils down to.
That's what it boils down to exactly. Brett, if you're around, what would you do if you had the power to do anything for one day?
I'd start raising the dead like a motherfucker.
Oh shit!
Oh damn! Would they be zombies or would they just be as they were?
Yeah, no monkey paw. No monkey paw.
No monkey paw. No, just straight Lazarus shit, man. Just like bring back family that I lost, and then just start bringing back really dope people. And with all of the chaos that comes with that, like all of a sudden, fucking like Einstein's back and shit. Like, yeah, cool. Like I would love to cause chaos by doing the opposite of murdering people, by unmurdering people.
All right, good stuff. All right, moving on here. Who is this? Eurocar? Who is this guy?
Well, what already? Sponsored question?
No, it's not a sponsored question. It's just a regular question.
Oh, okay.
All right. What constitutes a perfect burger for you? Chris's answer is, I'm a simple man. If you put cheese and ketchup on that burger, I'm good. I'm generally of that persuasion. Medium rare. Get some lettuce, tomato on that shit. And like a thick burger too, not those little slices and shit. Like
Five Guys burger for me, a double patty. Yeah. Double patty with bacon.
That was gonna be my first answer. Five Guys, because that's the shit, Manny. You already know yesterday. But like, I still like barbecue. The ones that people make at actual barbecues. Those are the best fucking or diner burgers. Ooh, oh man. But yeah, I don't go too crazy. Give me the meat. Give me the cheese. And lettuce and tomato and the good bun. Fucking good sesame seed bun. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm simple like that too. I mean, I could do without the ketchup. I don't need
no
ketchup.
Tomatoes for you, obviously.
No, definitely no tomatoes. Medium burger, and yeah, just
made on a grill, baby.
Made on a grill. Get that little bit of smoke on that.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. For no reason whatsoever, Carlos, what's your answer?
Very similar to you guys. Sesame seed bun toasted with mayo, and maybe some ketchup, but not really.
Mayo.
Yeah,
You're one of those
mayo.
guys.
Well, I like mayo and ketchup and it's only on one side, on the bottom side.
Interesting.
And
By the
then
way, I'm not a mayo hater. I like mayo. It's just on burgers.
On burgers.
Yeah, I mean, do you? But that's a little weird to me. Anyway, go on.
same thing. I like grilled medium rare patties
Yeah, yeah.
too, with American cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, raw onions, and bacon, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. Got to get some bacon in that bitch. Let's
get
go.
that
I mean,
Yeah.
if bacon, I will have it, but on there. But if the burger's just amazing on its own,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
doesn't need it, but it's a nice bonus. But you're right. A
Mm-hmm.
good burger should not need bacon. You know, good stuff. All right, Brett, what makes the perfect burger?
Bacon.
All right, fair enough. Bacon.
What about a bacon burger? Just the
Bacon
burger is
burger.
made of bacon.
All right, Adam. Yeah.
Maybe you're onto something there, Manny.
There was this one place in the city. They closed it down after the Rona. It was like bacon. I forgot the name of the fuck, but they just had bacon. Everything was bacon. Everything on the menu was some form of bacon.
That's because that
glorious.
bacon should be on everything. We have bacon bits in the fridge, and I sprinkle that shit on my cornflakes.
Yeah,
I don't
remember
care.
that shit?
We got those on everything. Man. You can that and pepperonis. We got pepperonis, and then yesterday I made some eggs in the morning. I just whipped up some pepperonis, put that on there with some salt and pepper. So for me, it's got to be a double patty.
Yeah.
It's got to have blue cheese and bacon.
Oh,
Maybe on like a pretzel bun. That'll be great.
So buns are good.
Pretzel buns are good. Yeah, they're good.
And then that's it. But I don't like these thin ones, these thin burgers. I'm saying the Five Guys, man.
You get that double.
First time I went that first time, I'm like, shit. This should be the new standard everywhere. Can we make that a law with all these bullshit laws? Can we make it? This is how it's done. Force McDonald's, force everybody to do it this way.
Now, Adam, you know what they need? You know what the law should do? They should mandate, and I don't know if it's the same thing with you guys, but over here, fucking Five Guys doesn't have a drive-through. I'm like, yo, you need to make a law.
It's not
20th Amendment.
Believe it or not, in the land of drive-thrus where I'm at, the Five Guys we have does not have a drive-thru.
Oh, wow.
I know.
It's
Same thing
It's on
here.
a strip. It's on a strip, and it's like you have to actually go park and go in.
Man,
It's like
you got to go in.
you can order online for pickup, which is great, but man, where's the drive-thru on that?
Yeah, I know.
All right, man.
That's-
Let's move on here. Another one from Mr. Eurocar. What's one thing you want to accomplish in 2023? Chris goes, I want to start working out again as soon as I'm recovered. That's a good one. Manny, what's one thing you want to accomplish in 2023?
Well, with the new job I got going on right now, clear out my debt. Finally, actually clear out a lot of the debt I've accrued from being a freelancer. Some of my early jobs really took a toll on me. Places not paying, all kinds of stuff. So, to really truly, get myself sort of debt free, clear out all the credit card debt that I got, some of the outstanding other things that I got. Just work on that.
Nice. For me, I want to consistently invest 25% of the money I make per year. I did 15 last year. That worked out pretty well. I could save a little more, invest a little more, because right now, the market seems like it's going to be down for a while, which means I'm buying this shit cheap. So when it goes back up again, I'm going to be sitting pretty. So, yep, and doing it nice and slow, man. There's these fucking crypto assholes. Like I'm doing this shit like the tortoise, man. Nice and slow in my ETFs. Just put a little bit in every month and you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, secondary one, like Chris, I got to get back to that working out too, boy. And there's a fucking gym downstairs. I haven't even used it yet. So
man. You got no excuses now.
No excuses. It's literally right there. So that's my two. Invest 25% and work out. So yeah. Carlos, what about you?
I'm so similar to Manny. Pay off some of the debt that I have, and save up as much as I can. 2023, just save up as much as I can.
There you go, man.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff. Brett, what do you want to do in 2023?
I mean, pretty much the same thing I'm doing now.
Just more of it.
Yeah, I have nothing super big that I'm looking forward to or set on. Just hoping the economy gets a little bit better.
You know.
Say go back to Hawaii.
Do you want to?
I mean, that's always in there.
Yeah. Adam, what about you? What's one thing you want to accomplish next year?
Well, I have to say, too,
Get a second Steam Deck.
It's like who knows? We might have another one, but two things that I have two because these are always one: invest more money in my retirement. That's one thing we always talk about, but it's always tricky when you have two kids and there's always new activities and money that needs to go things. And the second part is to get myself mentally prepared for my daughter going to middle school. Like that's the biggest one that really gets me. It's like, oh, man, I remember middle school, and it's granted I'm in a different time, different location. You know, it was crazy. Middle school was crazy, and she's going to be doing that in 2023.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on here to Kishak. All right. But this one could be kind of grim.
Oh,
What would be your last meal? Chris goes,
We just had it, Five Guys.
Yeah, Chris goes, my perfect burger mentioned above with fries and a milkshake.
What's up?
Valentino slice, man.
Valentino's
Pepperoni. You know, that would be like if that was the last meal I'm gonna ever have on Earth. Yeah, pizza all the way. You know, Valentino specifically.
for me. Yeah, for me it would just be the pie, just the pie, just
Yeah.
the one pie to have. You know.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna
Like
die
a-
anyway. I'm gonna eat the whole fucking pie. You know.
Yeah, just eat the whole pie. Just that's it.
Yeah, they're gonna pull the the electric chair right afterwards. So may as well.
Get me a nice little Dr. Pepper to go with that.
Yeah,
you know.
there you go.
There you go.
Good stuff. All right, Carlos, what would be the last thing you would eat as your last meal?
I think I'm gonna have to go with tacos, man.
Oh,
Just
shit.
and I'll have all of the pastor, asado, all the stuff, all of it. Just tacos, man.
Nice. Brett, last meal.
Big fucking steak from the aforementioned steak place.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Drunken Guardian mango queso frito with some fried salami. Yeah, man, some mango and shit. That'd be good. But I need that pizza in my life, man. Adam, last meal.
That's it. Five Guys. I just get a big ass fucking because I would think on the pizza, but it's like there's too many different pizzas, and last thing I need is when I'm sitting there get heartburn and shit. I'm like,
I'm gonna die anyway. I don't give a fuck.
It's like I'll be like, yo, could you slip some Tums in right before this shit? Because yo, let's do this right. But at least with the Five Guys, I'm like, damn, I'm full. I think we're gonna pass out anyway. So if this happens, let's just do it.
Yeah. By the way, maybe I'm being too morbid about it because when the last meal, I always associate you eat your last meal, then you're executed afterwards. So I'm thinking like, okay, if this is the shit I'm gonna eat before they fucking fry me, yeah, that.
Right.
Although maybe I should eat something heavier to give them a fucking mess afterwards. Assholes. All right, man.
Adam, I do. It seems like I learned this from Adam. I learned something new from Adam every day. It looks like Adam is the Five Guys aficionado. So Adam, I gotta ask you.
I got the peanuts too. Love the peanuts.
Well, no, the peanuts is
Adam
it's
loves
a
getting a
given.
gallon of fucking French fries.
I fill up all my pockets with the peanuts. Right when you walk in, it's like with the shovel, and you just shove it all in my bag.
When they give you the bag, you gotta dig through the fries to get to your burger and shit.
Well, here's a dilemma that I've been going through for the last couple of years, and is it maybe it's been mandated nationally, but have they cut down on the fries?
It depends on where.
I've been getting small, so I don't know.
It depends on
small
where you
seems like-
go.
yeah.
And then how they do it. They used to give me a big ass cup of fries.
Yeah, no, but shrinkflation is real. Like that Thai place Manny and I go to every year and shit. Like they give us less this year for sure. There's always have the like sausage fried rice and shit. Normally I can't finish that. I have to take back half back home. It's really good. I finished the whole thing. I was like, okay. Interesting.
yeah. I think that's like the like how there's Moore's law. That I think that's that shrinkflation thing.
For real. All right. Jackzilla, what are your favorite sports teams in the 4 major U.S. markets in the USA? NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL. I'm taking myself out of this one. I don't watch sports, so can't answer.
Well, I mean, classically, when I did care about it, I would have said the New York Mets, but I'm not like into them like I was when I was younger. And the Rangers, of course.
Messier.
Yeah, Mark Messier. Yeah.
1994.
Yep, 1994. Let's see. As far as the basketball team, I never cared for the Knicks, to be honest. So, yeah, I never really had a basketball team. I mean, obviously, I would watch. My mom was the big Knicks fan. She loved those guys, even despite them being a bunch of losers. Come on,
No, they always lost. Ewing
They
could
always
never do
lost.
it. No, you could never.
But she loved watching them. But yeah, I can't really say basketball. I know I watched when Jordan used to play, because come on, watching that dude play was just like crazy.
With his eyes closed, literally, he would shoot with his eyes closed.
Yeah, he'd shoot his eyes closed. Dude would friggin' jump and slam dunk with his tongue sticking out of his mouth. He could easily chomp down on it, but he did it. And what man, as far as football teams, I was never really into football, but yeah, I actually never even been to a game. So yeah, no. Yeah, so there you go.
Want to go next, Adam, or you want me to go?
You can go.
NFL is the Minnesota Vikings. I've been a fan since essentially when they got Randy Moss. That's the reason why I became a fan.
You still wants Randy Moss for the New England Patriots, though.
Oh, dude, yeah. So that's NFL. MLB. I'm a Yankees fan. New York Yankees. Yo, what up? I've been a fan of the Yankees since I was a kid. Since my little league team was the Yankees.
The
that's the reason.
You like losing, don't you?
Yankees.
No, the Yankees
win.
No, the Yankees are not losers.
Yeah, you're missing them. You're mixing them with the Mets.
You're making
no. I was confusing them with the Knicks. That's what I was thinking about. No, Yankees are actually winners.
No,
yeah,
the Mets.
The NBA, the Denver Nuggets, and what's the other? The NHL, right? I think was it. That one I don't really have too much allegiance. I was a fan of the Dallas Stars when I was a kid, and then I switched to the Chicago Blackhawks because that's the first NHL game I saw, and it was incredible. So yeah. More importantly, I'm a Real Madrid fan. So that's for those that are interested in world football, that's where my allegiance lies.
Brad, you got anything?
Nope.
All right. Moving on here.
Adam
Chagzilla also says he loves the show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pig Dan. All right. What are your favorite hilariously bad but entertaining movies?
Let's get mine. I didn't get to say mine.
Oh, you did? I thought you did. Okay, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
So, because it's only domestic, right? We're talking about domestic.
American, yeah. The big ones, NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL.
Yeah. Not so much with the baseball. So there goes that one. For MLS, I have NYCFC and the Red Bulls. Those are the two New York teams. So I put those. The NBA, not so much with the Knicks, as Manny talked about. They're losers. Will always be losers. So and they can't support Jersey. So there goes the Nets. So
but they're not Jersey no more.
They're not Jersey no more. They're still not
Brooklyn.
Yeah, they're New York.
They're Brooklyn.
Yeah, they're Brooklyn.
They moved. I thought the Brooklyn Nets, but I moved. There was no more. There were no Brooklyn Nets, so I can't really jump on that one yet.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they didn't exist at the time. I remember they were still building at Jay-Z and Friends. But But I did watch, and of course with Miami Heat and stuff. So I jumped on the bandwagon with that All-Star team during that period when they had Shaquille O'Neal and everybody. For football, it would definitely have to be New England Patriots because of Randy Moss. Randy Moss, man, that season, man. And of course, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a living legend. That is the Messi of football right there. That dude. People could say all they want, hate him, but the guy has amazing skills. Rarely gets hurt, if ever. You know, he's just a great player. It doesn't matter what team he plays on. He is a winner. So that's great. That's it for hockey. There was, of course, the Rangers, that whole thing. But there was, what's his name? Detroit Red Wings. Mm-hmm. Steve Yzerman for a long time. When there was a player that was named Steve, and I was a huge fan of them just for that one player. And I think that's it because I mentioned baseball, then hockey. Yep, that's it. Those are my teams. Domestic.
Cool. All right. What are you up to now? All right. Anyway, hilariously bad but entertaining movies.
Ghost of Mars.
I would say Tank Girl. That's a pretty horrible movie, but I love watching it. It's it's a distillation of a lot of the films that used to get back in the days. What was another one? Geez, there's so many. Fuck, I can't even think of it. But I want to say Tank Girl right now.
Carlos.
I'm trying to think. The American Pie movies are kind of bad and they're kind of entertaining. I'd say like the first couple of American Pies. Fast and Furious too. I mean,
yeah,
they were good to begin with, and I feel like Fast 5 was like the last like good one, and then they just got stupidly ridiculous.
They're all over the place now.
You know what? That was my answer. Like Fast 7. I was like, whoa, this is crazy, but it was fun.
Yeah,
like they're fucking in Dubai. They're like jumping through from building to building and shit.
Yeah, the Gina Carano one.
Yeah. I was like, yo.
No, that was
Which one was that?
Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was in that.
Oh, Ronda Rousey.
Okay,
yeah,
she was the security guard.
Yeah,
special.
Fucking The Rock. Remember, he had the cast on. He's like, all right, it's time to fight. He just flexes and breaks.
He blows it up.
What's the one where fucking Vin Diesel he jumps like he launches his car into something that is going to explode and he jumps off out of the car.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Remember the one? I think it was 5. That was still a good one. Like that wrecking. They had like a safe and shit. It was like
safe,
a wrecking ball just fucking everything up.
Brazil.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Good stuff. Brett, hilariously bad but awesome movie.
I mean, damn you, Manny, for taking one of my favorite movies.
It's a fun movie, but it's kind of dumb.
Dude, no, it's absolutely dumb, but also amazingly fun. It's exactly. A great movie. Okay, I'm gonna go then with the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie.
Really? That one's bad?
The first one is awesome. The second one is the one you're probably thinking about, right?
I'm thinking about the third one.
Oh,
yeah. Wait, is that Go Ninja? Go Ninja?
That's not the. No, that's when they go into like the samurai. Yeah, they went to. It did not fit.
That's a bad one. Yeah,
that was a pretty bad one.
That was bad.
It is. It's awful, but it's still kind of fun.
There you go, man.
Also, I would also say I don't think this movie is okay. I love the movie Pootie Tang. That movie is hilarious.
Saturday. Pootie Tang. Man.
I don't know if it's exactly bad, but I know it's a lot of people consider it horrible. But man, that movie's hilarious.
That movie's hilarious.
That movie.
Yeah, Pootie Tang, man. Saturday. All right,
I got
go ahead.
I got another one, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I know for sure.
You better not talk shit about House Party, Blitz. That movie's awesome.
There was a few.
House Party 2 is the one that's
the bad. Yeah, that's the bad.
I could never do that jump over the leg thing. I tried.
House Party.
You got to be tall for that.
Some pajama jammy jam, son.
Oh man.
I have a feeling Adam has seen this movie, and probably Brett. But have you guys seen Three Ninjas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That's a pretty bad one.
Yeah,
That's a really bad movie, but I enjoy it. It's weird.
Adam, what you got, man?
Well, mine is Ghost of Mars. I
Yeah,
love
Ghost of
that
Mars,
movie.
Ghost of
A
Mars.
lot of people freaking hate that movie, but there's something silly about it that I really like about them going out there with Ice Cube and all this craziness happening on Mars.
And they're
Jason
playing
Statham
Anthrax music.
that was on there. They opened up a cave, and because there was something going on with the mining colony out in this part of Mars, they didn't hear from them, and they were transporting some criminals, but they were told to stop over there to check to see what's going on because they've lost contact with people. And it turns out that they opened up a cave that had some evil alien shit on there, and the gas came out and it possessed them and turned them all into like these weird monsters.
Yeah, that movie was stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid, but it was so gruesome. There was so many crazy scenes. There was this one where one of the agents, the security agents, she did this awesome dive of like some laser thing that was coming, like a sword thing. And you're like, oh, she dodged it. And then when she puts her head up, it gets chopped right off by a follow-up. It's like it goes flying. But it had Jason Statham in there, and he's one of my favorite actors. I'll put the transporter, all of them on that list also, because it's like, this makes no fucking sense. This car is jumping on trains and shit.
The first one is it makes the most sense, but as it's the movies game that the transporter, I can't remember which transporter it was, Tony. That's one of your favorite ones where essentially he's on a plane, and he essentially just cracks the guy's neck with like twisting it, just like
Transporter 2 specifically. That movie is bad, but it's very entertaining. Yes. Because Transporter 1 was awesome.
Yeah, I like all of the Jason Statham movies.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I am the one. Remember he was
the
in
Meg,
that?
Meg,
oh my God.
Meg on that list. Add Meg on that list because a lot of people hate that shit, but it was fun for the crazy over the top shit with the dino, shark.
Deep Blue Sea, that was bad, but awesome too.
Deepest bluest, my head is like a shark fin.
Oh man! All right, let's move on. What do we have here? Also, Pignan. What's something that you can't believe is real, either tech, real life in general, etc.?
That's simple. We all know this. We're on it right now. This fucking internet shit. This is ridiculous. Think about it. We couldn't do video like this back in the day. We couldn't do any of this shit. If somebody would have told me that this is where it was going, I was like, fucking that's the future.
No dial-up?
I'm living in the exactly. No dial, always on. I got a pocket phone. What, with a screen, a touch screen? This is like Star Trek. Are you kidding me?
I remember when you were obsessed with
which one?
Palm Pilot.
Yeah, my Palm Pilot. People thought I was a fucking weirdo. They're like, what? You're pressing, you got a textile
and they were right.
buttons on your shit? Why would you do that? No one's gonna text like that. Next thing you know, poof, everybody's fucking doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the future. We live in the future.
No, you're right about that, because remember, like, in movies, like video conferencing was like a futuristic thing. Remember Back to the Future? McFly!
Yeah, exactly.
Now, like, we do this shit all the time now. It's crazy.
Even like tablets. Remember tablets?
Yeah, that was in Star Trek.
Yeah,
Star Trek had the tablet. It's like, holy. And here it is. We have it on our phone. I
gotta say this. This is the moment I realized, like, okay, Tony, you guys got it pretty good. I'm talking about humans right now, right? I was talking to Gary, right? Gary Swaby, right? And I was just beefing about how, like, yo, man, the fucking future they promised us never came. No cars, no robots. And then I'm like, okay, we may have gotten something better, because I'm talking to a dude from England seamlessly. So I think we got the better end of the deal. Because imagine flying cars, those motherfuckers would be dropping off, drunk motherfuckers. Robots would be killing us all right now.
Well, what's that dude? Man. The physicist that we hear about all the time.
Neil deGrasse
Tyson. He talked about that's about flying cars. We have them. We definitely have them, but we don't want to use them to the extent that you see them in movies, because, like you said, we would have cars falling from the sky. We would have them banging in the skyscrapers. We would have all kinds of horrible things.
That's right.
We can't even get the ones that are on wheels to work properly. And
imagine like how many accidents we have a year.
Exactly. That's the last thing you need. It's like you're in a skyscraper, and then all of a sudden someone's drunk and just rams right into you. Destroys a building. No thanks.
Yeah. So the technological progress in general, that's kind of my answer. It's like, wow. I also, runner up, I'm also surprised that we didn't blow each other up, when we created nuclear bombs. We actually we better not use those again, So I'm actually very surprised by that, All right. Brett, what's one thing in life that surprised you?
don't even know how to answer that question, man. Yeah, I'm gonna take a pass on this one.
I can go.
That you can't believe is real. All right, yeah, it's a tough one.
Well, I guess like I knew life wasn't fair. I didn't know it could be downright cruel.
Yeah, yeah, life is cruel. You know, look at the animal kingdom. You know, shit is fucked up. You know, and we're worse because we actually know what the hell we're doing to each other. You know, it's like a lion's just got to eat. You know, you got to kill the fucking lamb. That's just what you got to do. But you know, we have. We're supposed to be above animals. We're still animals.
For what? Why? Just fucking life is short as it is.
Yeah.
Let's just everybody just live and get through it best we can.
Yeah. Carlos, go ahead.
The platypus.
Yeah, it's like, wait, how does that work? That thing's a chimera if you think about it. You know,
it has everything.
Yeah.
It's a mammal that lays eggs. It's poisonous. It has sonar. It's mostly aquatic.
I forgot that it's poisonous.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
It has like beaver tails. It has like a beak of a duck. It's crazy. It is a real life chimera, and of course it comes from Australia.
You know,
and it's I can't believe that thing exists because it's just so freaking weird. And also, by the way, shout out to its closest relative, the aliens. Well, that's their second cousins, but their first cousin is the echidna. And if you guys have ever seen an echidna,
that's Knuckles, by the way, people.
It's Knuckles, and it looks like Nergigante.
Oh shit!
With the spikes. I'll send you a picture. It looks like a Nergigante.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that's man, I can't believe that.
Yeah. All right, Manny. What's one thing in life that you can't believe is real?
Oh, what cannot believe is real?
Vespas.
Vespa's. I could. It's a scooter. It's real. I don't know, man. Like.
Cell phones. Think about it. It's got to be something that's in your life now that you're like,
stupid people.
Stupid people.
Stupid people. I can't believe they're fucking real. You know, and especially stupid people who have power. That I can't believe that's even fucking real.
Always.
All right, good stuff. Let's move on here. The last of the official questions. There's still a lot more. We'll see if we get through many of these, but these are the last of the official questions. Sponsored questions, by the way.
Is he on me?
All right. First up, we got a very generous fella named Rami Death. He's going to sponsor two different people tonight.
First up, that death.
All right. First up is. Oh yeah, Kristen wasn't able to answer those. Obviously, the Big Dan ones. What's your favorite? This is a Mob Hits question. What's your favorite mixed drink? Crisco sangrias are awesome. Jack and Cokes count, right?
Yeah,
right,
that's my answer too.
That's my go-to right there, man. Jack and Coke for days, man.
Jack and Coke is all.
I keep it simple. I don't do the fruity stuff except Maui Wowies. I'll mess with Maui Wowie, but besides that,
yeah. All right.
Brett, I don't do too many. I don't do too many drinks stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, Brett, you don't really drink either, do you?
Nope.
All right. Okay.
Nah,
that was
not anymore.
Adam, what was your?
I used to drink whiskey sours.
Yeah, used to. Yeah.
I am not.
No.
Adam, what was yours again?
That's it.
Yeah, Adam, what was yours again?
The Jack and Coke and Maui Wowie.
You already know. Another one. This is a sponsored question. That from Eurocar.
Is he on me?
What are Tony and Manny's non-spoiler thoughts about Avatar 2?
I thought. No, you go first, Tony.
I really enjoyed the movie. I think I still like the first one more, just because the story is more focused. This one, there was a couple parts where it kind of just meandered and stuff, but the fucking visuals are insane in this movie, except for one thing, which I'll get to in a bit. Like,
how was it long? Was it long?
Yeah, it was long, like 3 hours and 10 minutes. But like,
there's a reason why it's called The Way of Water, and it's after you get out of that movie because you literally need to pee a river.
Yeah, and I'll say it was nice just seeing a movie that was made just to be entertaining, no agendas, no bullshit. Just here's a fun movie with blue people. You know,
what are you talking about? It was totally, that certain thing that they're doing in the movie that's totally
Oh, you may have to bring it up because I didn't catch that. If that's what you're talking about, like the only thing I caught was like wailing is bad. You know,
Yeah,
like that's the only thing I caught. But I'm talking about modern day, stuff. That was it. It was just a fun movie, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I did feel some of the parts dragged on too long, but it looks so fucking good. I forgot what good special effects looked like because we just had like 5 years of just bullshit.
You could in that movie, you could definitely tell Cameron was literally indulging. Like there's
it was self-indulgent as a motherfucker.
Constantly with the water, man. Like once they got to water, it just couldn't stay. Like I swear, man, that dude just loves fucking water.
Yeah, he really does. But I only say this, and this was a deliberate thing because Manny and I were watching it. Like, yo, what's up with this frame rate? It's all fucked up. Like sometimes it'll be 24, sometimes it'll be 48. We thought it was the projector. Turns out for IMAX 3D, that's a deliberate choice. It actually fluctuates between, and that kind of ruined the experience for me. This is why I want to see it in just a regular theater, 24 frames a second. See, my thing is either pick 24 or 48. Stick with one.
Stick with one.
Although I would prefer 24, obviously, but that's my only complaint, like a technical thing. Yeah, go ahead.
That's sort of my complaint too. I mean, here's the thing: like I didn't think that it was the most amazing movie ever made on the planet, and to be honest, I felt like even like that with the original one, like where it was it was it was a well done, entertaining movie, but it was not. I think the biggest showcase for both films is just the effects themselves. Like Cameron is just doing a lot of flexes. Like there's like situations where there's a real person hanging out with the CG characters, then there's CG characters hanging out with with the human characters, and they all blend in. Like there's situations where like you'll see like them interact like this, see them interacting, like one will help the other one up, and you're like, how are they doing this? Is the kid what is the kid CG? How did they? Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, Manny, real quick, I never caught any instance where like, oh, that special effect looks bad. Everything looked really good.
It just looked all really good. Like the water shit, all the fighting stuff, even, the usual stuff where they try to, like, they have full sections that happen during the day.
Yeah.
There's also, I don't know how much of the film was actually filmed. Obviously, the stuff like, where they're in the fantastical environments, but even the original Avatar, they were filming in jungles. So what were they doing? Or is it all just CG?
It's crazy. Like you said, it's like, like how are they doing some of this stuff? But so it's like the first one to me, definitely not like the greatest James Cameron movie, but extremely entertaining. And I want to see it again. That tells you right there. And also a testament, the special effects in this movie don't look any better than they did in the first one, which is a testament to that. Those effects were fucking insane back then,
Unlike some of the later Marvel movies.
That's the thing. Marvel movies used to look really good, but now since they're pumping out 20 movies a year, the quality
and TV shows.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, and TV shows. That's why the quality looks bad. But this, and again, it just didn't feel like the type of modern movie we get, that was very refreshing. But it's funny because I'm saying refreshing, but it's literally the way movies used to be. Just a nice simple story. You get invested with the characters. Here's some special effects, and you go home happy. And that's also a reason people like Top Gun Maverick. Simple movie, very entertaining.
We'll just say. At the end of that movie, I mean, again, I didn't think it was worthy of doing like a standing ovation. But
people did it.
Our crowd fucking standing ovation after that movie.
Yeah, and this is a New York crowd. Yeah,
this was a New York crowd.
Yeah, Remember, there was the girl sitting next to you. She was into it, man. She was.
You have to be a fan if you're going to go through the day one release. I mean.
No, but it wasn't day one.
There was
the same thing. Still, you got to get their tickets. You want to see this movie. You're anticipating.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that theater was packed.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't like here's the thing. Like when you look at the world of social media currently, you don't see a lot of talk about this.
No one's talking about this. Yeah.
Nobody. Most people are not talking about it, but you wouldn't know that from the crowd that we saw at that theater, man.
Yeah, that line was long. And packed. Everybody was cheering. I'm like, this is a New York crowd. Good stuff, man. It's a people. I was watching one podcast with our boy Chris Gore, and he said that he thinks that he said the movie is absolutely ridiculous, but he thought it's entertaining. He goes, this is a crowd pleaser. It's gonna do it. He said the movie's really good for normies. Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's
think
not
that's
you're not going to go and getting a lot of deep things out of it. You know, very simple things, family, all that stuff, the environment, simple stuff, but it works. And again, this is a movie that this is the reason why I love going to a movie theater. You can't get that kind of experience at home. You like surrounded with this big fucking screen and these crazy special effects and stuff like that. This is also this reason I like big budget video games. I like just seeing money on the screen.
The spectacle.
Right?
The
spectacle, exactly. I like seeing that. It's like if I'm going to a movie theater, I'm not trying to watch like some shit, like, some dude's just talking in a little room for 2 hours. Like, I want to see some shit, But yeah, good stuff. We didn't spoil anything. Good stuff. Manny and I are actually going to be doing an actual spoiler podcast for this tomorrow, people, for the coalition. So
yeah,
stay tuned for that.
So that's a little bit extra. Since we're going to be off next week, we're not only going to have the premieres of the Throwdown Draw episodes, but we're also going to be doing the spoiler cast for Avatar.
So yeah, look forward to that. All right, another sponsor question. Who is this? Citizen? I have a feeling this guy may have lived in all the 5 boroughs.
Oh shit!
I'm making shit up.
Not the Bronx.
Not the Bronx though.
Not the Bronx.
So he is sponsoring another question for Black Mage. For no particular reason at all. Adam, and I'm tossing Carlos in here too. What are your thoughts on the World Cup? Chris goes, who cares about soccer? That's my answer too. Fuck soccer, man. All right.
Chris will probably give me real football.
Yeah, give me real.
This was a movie type ending. You can't write, but there's only one other athlete that's ever recently had this type of career and this type of ending to a career, and that's David Beckham, he had an Olympic goal, which is scoring a goal from a corner kick. See that shit curving goal. He had all this shit happen his last year and won 2 cups, one in MLS, then went to France, PSG, which is where Messi plays, and won a championship there, and then called it quits. That's unheard of. So here it is. This is Messi, amazing. Everyone knows him, even if you're not a fan. It's like a Pele type thing. He's won everything under the sun except the World Cup. So he's already in his late 30s. This is going to be his last World Cup, and he's like, it's balls to the wall. If I don't do it now, it doesn't happen. Scores the last goal that you would think it was 2-3. This is a game-winning goal. You think this is it, but no, there was a penalty. Then your boy that I know you like to make fun of, Mbappe from France, he winds up scoring a goal with a PK. So now it's 3-3. They do double overtime. They go to penalty kicks, and they win. But he finally gets it, and it still counts that his goal was what brought him to that point. So it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's not over. He's going to be playing in Major League Soccer, Miami FC, which I think that's what they're called now, right? He's going to be coming out here, but still, it was amazing. It was a lot of up and down, a lot of craziness going on, a lot of overtime, a lot of great plays. Fantastic, great goalkeeping. Oh man, both ends. These guys are diving and flipping all over the place, doing kick saves and punch saves. It was a great game. It was a great.
Well, the Argentinian goalkeeper literally blocked a point blank shot at the very end.
Yeah, with a kick. He was just amazing. He would like showboat even toward the end. Remember when the penalty? He's like shaking his shoulders.
Did you see what he did with the trophy?
No, I didn't. What did he do with the trophy? Don't tell me.
He put it. He got the trophy right from the Qatari president, the French president, and all. Everyone was there. The FIFA president, and he gestured the trophy with his freaking on his fucking junk.
Oh man! See, well, there's a lot of things you're never gonna see. Like Macron, the president of France, he was there, Macron, and you have Mbappe that saw play. He's sitting on the ground, like all devastated, and the president walks on the pitch, bends down with him, and he has like this heart-to-heart moment and starts hugging him. I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting game, but it was a great game, and it's a great time for Messi. Messi just proves that he is a legend. He's the best, and now no more of this. Oh well, the best Argentinian player was Maradona. He did it all. Well, not anymore. This is it. Messi did it all. All
right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, real quick. Overall, this World Cup was really entertaining.
Oh yeah. A lot of ups and a lot of surprises, and that's what you want. A lot of surprises.
Prizes, upsets. Personally, it sucked for me because Mexico was eliminated in the group stage, and we only lost one game. which is crazy. But yeah, overall, a lot of stuff happened, a lot of twists and turns.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like overall, this was a really engaging World Cup. For
Morocco
people,
making it as far as they did. It's like, what? Are you kidding?
Morocco was the Cinderella story. Well, Croatia was in the finals last year in the last tournament, so
It's
they
still
weren't
surprising though.
Yeah, well, they beat Brazil. That was a surprising.
That was
part.
a big surprise too.
Yeah.
The dancers, after every goal, they came up with like a group dance, like it was a musical. It was weird.
Yeah, and next, the one thing that was a downer was the fact that it was in Qatar, so it was not as attainable for people to get there, and obviously for the people that were there, they weren't served booze.
Yeah, no booze. But there was a plus I heard is that the stadiums were all walking distance.
And no, they weren't. They were all accessible via train.
Oh, okay.
Because I was watching vlogs and stuff of people that were there, and they were it's like pretty accessible via trains, but yeah, like they were a little bit separated, not too much, but just a little bit. But I will mention this: 2026
it's gonna be nuts.
Is gonna be fucking crazy. North America, man. North America's hosting the World Cup. That's Mexico, US, and fucking Canada. I'm gonna make it to fucking the Mexico game, man. If it's the last thing I fucking do.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna definitely be in Kansas. I'm gonna be over in
oh yeah, the Kansas City's gonna have one.
Yeah, they're gonna be playing. I just want to find out what games are gonna take place over there. But
Arrowhead,
definitely. Yep.
All right, good stuff. All right, so we're gonna go through some of the leftover questions and maybe some of the extra ones, but let's do a little bit, not ultra rapid fire, but a little bit faster than normal. All right, mob hits. These were submitted a while ago. I've started my venture into coding. I know some of you guys code. I just wanted to see if you had any pointers for me. Thanks, fellas. Chris goes, Stack Overflow is your best friend. Also look for code samples on codepen.io or JS Fiddle to see how others solve certain problems.
Code Blocks is a good app. I remember when I did stuff, I used to love Code Blocks. If you're looking for free tools.
Yeah, Stack Overflow, like Chris mentioned, that's like the Bible for programmers. Because usually if you have a question about something, it's probably been asked, or if you asked it the community is great and they'll answer it. I will mention, I don't know if you're just learning, I would say learn the most popular ones, either something like JavaScript or not Proton, but
what not Proton? What's wrong with Proton?
It's not. It doesn't compare to like something like JavaScript or C# or Python.
Sorry, Python. I was thinking, Python. Sorry, no, I'm thinking Proton because I'm thinking of the Steam. No. Python. That's it. No, Python.
Yeah, sorry. Python is probably one of the top. Is probably the top 5 right now. One of the most popular programming languages. So, learn one of the most popular ones. I would say maybe Python. Even though I don't do Python, but I know a whole bunch of people, companies do Python now.
Oh, yeah.
So learn one of those. YouTube is your friend. You can look up how to learn how to program, and they'll go through everything, man. You'll find so many tutorials there. Start with Hello World. That's everyone that's ever programmed something always starts with Hello World, and just Google Hello World and you'll know what that means. And yeah, good luck, man. I hope, hopefully everything goes well.
Nice. All right, Black Mage. Since the new 40 series cards have dropped and given the scale of growth, power, and performance between each series, most notably the 3090 and 4090, I asked this, is Moore's Law obsolete or on the verge of becoming obsolete? Chris says, I think Moore's Law got surpassed a while ago. Whenever quantum computing becomes reality, you can just trash it. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things saying that we're getting close to it. Like, yeah.
I think the quantum computing thing is more in terms of processing power as opposed, or like just, brute force processing power. But I think what Moore's Law, what does is in terms of transistors, which is kind of real.
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos. Because I got a question about that, but go ahead.
which is kind of related because usually when we talk about transistors and the way they shrink in size and how many transistors we can fit into a chip, it does usually mean more processing power. But yeah, eventually Moore's law will have to. We still haven't slowed down in Moore's law yet. I think it was still kind of on pace, if last I remember correctly. But we will eventually get to the point where transistors can only get as small.
Because once you get to the quantum level, it'll be hard to pinpoint. You know what I'm saying? There's a name for it. I don't know the fucking name. Superposition. Yeah, like when that comes into play, you can't really do much. But I don't know. I watched some stuff. Even like guys like Michio Kaku, he's like, yeah, it's already starting to slow down. By some estimates, obviously. Some others will be like, no, it's not slowing down. I guess it depends on what you're looking at, but it's gonna have to, eventually end. But I'm pretty sure something else will take it over. Probably quantum computing. But you got to figure it out. But it's the same problem as getting those small transistors. We get them down to the quantum level. So, yeah, it's interesting stuff, but we'll figure it out, man. Good stuff. All right. Toon Medic. This one's fun. Who's going to die in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Chris goes, my bet is on Star-Lord, Drax, and Rocket. Marvel seems to be killing off its male characters. Damn. Yeah, Drax for sure. Because Batista's done,
He says he's done. He doesn't want anything to do with it after this.
So Drax is done for sure.
Yeah. I think Drax is gonna bite it. I feel like Rocket's gonna bite it, and I'm not sure about Peter. But
yeah, I'm not sure. But then again, people don't like Chris Pratt now, so maybe they will get.
Is that the thing?
Why?
Well, at least Twitter doesn't like him.
Fuck. They don't know.
All right. These are some extra questions, but yeah, we can get through these relatively fast. More Black Mage went in, but technically it's supposed to be 2 questions, but whatever. It's all right. Black Mage, Wrath of Khan versus Empire Strikes Back. Chris goes Wrath of Khan. Yeah, Chris goes Wrath of Khan. I need no explanation. For me, Empire Strikes Back. Although I love me some motherfucking Wrath of Khan. I saw that in they were screening like the 40th anniversary of it a couple weeks ago. Oh man, it's such a good fucking movie, man. They don't make movies like that anymore. But Empire Strikes Back, man, that is my second favorite movie of all time. Number 1, obviously, Terminator 2. But yeah, Empire Strikes Back for me. What about you, Carlos?
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is one of the greatest movies of all time. Wrath of Khan is fucking great. God,
yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Carlos, rewatch again. You're gonna be like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, it hurts choosing against a movie where one of the main people is a Mexican. So, but gotta give Empire Strikes Back its due, man. That whole the whole putting what's his name Han Solo in carbonite. That's those. I remember as a kid that shit impacted me like crazy.
Yo, hold on, Carlos, real quick. Speaking about kids, what impacted me though? Seeing that fucking worm come in and out of the guy's ears, and man,
yeah.
And what still disturbed me? Traumatic. Until this day, it disturbed me when the black dude got killed by the phaser. Like, man, that's because you just vanished into nothing.
Yeah.
Like, Wrath of Khan. It's funny because I picked Empire Strikes Back. I'm talking more about Wrath of Khan. It's so good, man. And again, the comedy in it was good because it was like natural, like Kirky's inspecting the bridge and stuff. You see Scotty, hey Captain, how you doing? I'm coming off the mend, and he asked the doctor like, hey, what was wrong with him? He's like, shore leave. He's like, yeah, he's a fucking drunken Irish guy or fucking drunken Scottish guy. Like, what's his problem? Shore leaf. Great stuff, man. Great cast too.
Oh yeah.
Kirstie Alley, shout out to her. Rest in peace to her. She was in that. Brett, I already know your answer. Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, that is objectively the best one, isn't it?
It's scientifically the best, and Adam, what about you?
Oh yeah, Empire Strikes Back. I like Star Trek, but Star Wars is something I can put on with the kids and they'll sit back and watch. I can't do that with Star Trek. I've tried, and they're like they zone out. And
The thing I like I like about Star Trek, too, is that it feels like adult sci-fi.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I thought too when I rewatched it. It is adult
It's not,
sci-fi.
as much as granted that the Empire Strikes Back is the most adult of the Star Wars films, but I feel
It
like
still has puppets in it.
it's still got
Yoda
puppets.
said it's a fucking puppet. Oh, and Ricardo Montalban, man, that's Khan. Oh man, here's the funny thing about Wrath of Khan. Somebody said that's one of the best submarine movies ever. You think about it, it kind of is.
Yeah,
you know.
he treated it. He treated it. The director treated it like a submarine film or a ship film. Like, in other words, two ships, and like that's and the crazy thing is Gene Roddenberry tried to fight against that.
Man,
Like, he didn't want it to be portrayed that way. Like,
Yeah, 'cause
there's a lot of
it was
things.
pretty dark for Star Trek at that time. Obviously, we would get darker Star Treks later on, but yeah, that was pretty dark, But yeah, that battle at the end, where they're like in the nebula, they don't really know where each other are and stuff, and then like trying to surprise. Oh, it's so good. And the funny thing is, like Kirk and Khan never actually come face to face in that movie.
No, they don't.
It's all just
never
off
really
screen,
meet.
Yeah.
sounds
in the
They're really
contract.
screaming at each other through the monitors and stuff.
Yeah.
The real only interaction that he had with anybody from the crew was
Chekhov.
But here's the funny thing:
Yeah.
somebody and Manny, I think you may have sent me this video.
Mhm.
He never met Chekhov in the original series.
No, he didn't.
Chekhov was not on the show. The actor, he was not on the show at that point.
Yeah, he's like, the Botany Bay.
Yeah.
It's like, no. He hadn't been on that show, the show yet when Khan showed up. But you could argue.
No. The thing is, you can't argue that he could have read about it because Khan literally goes, "I never forget the face."
I mean, you could have argued that he may have met him met him at some other point on the ship. Like, in other words, he could have been an ensign or something else somewhere else on the ship before he got to the bridge.
Maybe, yeah.
You could say that, but yeah.
But yeah, that was a little bit of a plot hole,
It's a plot hole.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan is so fucking good. All right, moving on here, Black Mage. There's been a sort of mini breakthrough in the holy grail that is fusion power. Will we see fusion used commercially in our lifetime? Chris goes, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with no, since it takes forever for a scientific breakthrough to trickle into a viable business model and be entered into the scale. Yep, that's my answer. This is going to happen now, but I think it's going to be, for lack of a better term, our grandkids or whatever, they're going to see it, not us, but exciting nonetheless. This is something these motherfuckers been working for 60 years, and they finally did it.
Let me bring up the fact that what they did, the U.S.
Defense.
What the U.S. Defense and Energy or whatever they did essentially did Dr. Octopus's experiment from Spider-Man 2. They used lasers to essentially cause fusion.
Yeah, because again, Spider-Man 2 obviously is still a great movie, but all that stuff, even though it was silly, he's like literally pushing the miniature sun together to create. All that stuff is silly, but it's actually based on actual real science.
Yeah,
that's what a fusion engine is. A fusion engine is a fucking miniature sun.
Yeah. So that was what he was trying to do, and the stupid arm thing where his arms are essentially pushing it into the thing.
Yeah, that's silly.
But the element that he was trying to get his hands on from Osborn was tritium, which is what you need to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's all based on real stuff. It's just they had to visualize it.
They had to visualize it. The power of a sun in the palm of my hand.
All right, man. And the last question of the night here, Mob Hits. Best Stallone, best Van Damme, best Schwarzenegger movie. You can only pick one of each. Chris goes. Excuse me. Best Stallone versus Van Damme versus best Schwarzenegger. That's a different question. Chris goes. Okay, so he goes best. So Chris. Okay, I'm gonna go with the way Chris listed. He listed the best of each. Rambo 2 versus Hard Target versus Terminator 2. I guess I don't understand the question. If I had to pick these two, it's easily Terminator 2. Obviously Terminator 2 fucking wins everything. But let's go with that. What is the best Stallone movie? Best Van Damme? Best Schwarzenegger? The thing is, I guess we have to go best Stallone action movie, so it actually makes sense with the other guys. You know, because we could go Rocky, you know, but that would be kind of unfair, you know.
That was gonna be my
Yeah,
choice.
Yeah, so let's go with action movie. Best Stallone
yeah.
action
I mean,
movie, yeah.
to be honest, I would agree with Chris. Rambo: First Blood Part 2,
Yep.
The Hard Target, and Terminator 2 for Arnold.
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm gonna agree with that order. Yeah, that's good, Chris. What about the rest of you guys?
Go for Arnold Predator.
Okay.
That
that's
would
a
Yep,
good one.
there you go.
me.
Yeah.
For Stallone, Van Damme, Bloodsport.
Bloodsport's a good one.
That's
Ooh,
up
yeah, that's a
there.
good one.
He's done a
Bloodsport's
bunch
good,
of them,
man.
but Bloodsport was great. That put him on the map also. And then, man, Stallone's been in a lot of good ones, but this is going to be one only because the car. I really love the character, but the car, Cobra.
Cobra, my man.
Oh,
Yes, bringing it back.
As some people call that a guilty pleasure because it's so fucking cheesy. But he had such a cool looking car, and he walked around with that toothpick and his fucking machine gun, and he was just
cutting his pizza with a freaking scissor.
Yeah, I mean, it was so over the top. But that car, man, it's called the skirt. It's like he took this old 1950s and he added this skirt thing on the back. This is a beautiful car. Love that car.
I love how you said. I love how
Cobra.
you're talking about Stallone, and you said Over the Top.
Well, Over the Top was another good movie. That was his arm wrestling one.
Yep.
Where he had the big arm.
Yeah.
His big
Good
right
stuff,
arm.
man. All right, people. We went through all the questions. AMA special is done, so we want to now dedicate this time to you guys. So we want to give you guys shout outs, man. This is another full year of Throwdown in the books. And we couldn't have done it without you, man. So yeah, obviously, you know, I've said it, you know, many years in the past, and I'll keep saying it. Many years in the future, you guys are the reason we do this, and you guys make it happen, man. Shout out to you, you know, especially with all the, you know, the engagement we see on Discord. We literally get all of our news stories off the Discord feed, you know, and obviously the questions, this show wouldn't happen without you guys. So yeah, shout out to the fans, man, for life.
Good luck, guys.
Yep.
Shout out to Mob Hits for the rumors, man, and the bits.
Rumors and bits.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go through like because there's so many of you guys, you know, that'd be kind of unfair. But yeah, shout out to everybody, man. You guys are awesome, you know.
Yeah, man.
All right, is there anything else you guys want to say in general before we wrap it up?
Shout out! Well, I do want to give some shout outs to the some people that are here. Barry Burton, Black Mage, Mighty Nerd, Tumeke, aka Blitz, Logic Wins. Who else is here? Piggy Dan,
Black Mage in the house. You know,
yeah, Drunk Guardian. Shout out to all you guys, man.
Yeah, you guys
we always,
awesome.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff. All right. So yeah, as Manny said, Throwdown. We're going on a hiatus, but we still got some content for you guys. Manny's was it 4 episodes of Throwdown draws? You did Edge Runners, Cyberpunk. So
yep, I drew like a few weeks back. I did a Twitch. You can actually watch the whole 2 Twitches, or you can watch the bite-sized versions at about 3 to 2 hours long, and or you could, and they're all going to be premiering starting actually tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna. Let me just look at my scheduling, or today, because since it's 12 a.m. But okay, so tomorrow on the 19th, it'll be it's the first episode. Then the next episode after that will be on the 21st. Then on the 23rd, which will be our usual Throwdown time, you can watch another episode. And then we're going to skip the weekend and come out on the following Monday with the final episode. Also, a little extra bit is that we're going to be, me and Tony and Dana and a couple of other people from the coalition are going to be talking to some Avatar tomorrow.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Oh, so we got,
for that.
Yeah. So we got 2 episodes of Throwdown going up on YouTube because we got that episode and then this one obviously for the YouTube crowd. Good stuff, man. Adam, do you have anything to plug?
No, just thanks again for everybody who's into The Walking Dead and has been following the I Am Negan podcast that myself, Rich Bailey Jr., and Carlos put together for all the Walking Dead content. And since there's so much more coming, which is crazy, I don't think all of them are going to stick. So it'll be fun to see how long this whole thing lasts. But until then, yeah, that's coming back. So thanks again, everybody. That's been nice. And for all the support over at the Coalition, the website, checking out our reviews and all the content. You see, you got everybody else coming back to do that, with the avatar thing and stuff. So it's always good just to see that. Thank you all.
Good stuff. Brett, you want to say anything to the fans before you wrap up?
Yep, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me around to scream at shit all year.
We look forward to you streaming at more stuff next year, man. Good
Come
stuff.
on, scream!
All right, man. Good stuff. All right, make sure you follow Throw It on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. Throw It On Show. You can find us on any podcast app, like whatever your favorite one, Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. We're on there. We run on Samsung because why not? Throw It On Show, and then throwitonshow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you're watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when all our premieres. We got a lot of premieres coming, so make sure you hit the bell to be notified of when all those go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See ya next year.
Yeah. Carlos Romero.
I'm surprised no one chose Double Team for Van Damme's best movie.
Oh,
Nah, that wasn't that good.
Oh, man. Adam Vale.
Yo, have a good Christmas and New Year. Stay safe, man.
Yay. And Brett Murdoch.
Jesus.
It's been a real party, people. He'll come in. Happy, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys in the Discord lounge, man. Later.
Yep. Just because we're not, just because we're not going to be, we'll be in there.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you 2023, man. Later.
Laters.
Peace.
Peace.